Hey y'all, Nova here, and today I'll be showing you a beginner's guide for the Barbarian. I've been playing a lot of Barbarian this playtest and I've been having an absolute blast. It feels really strong, the PvP feels great, it deals with most classes. Honestly, I think the class I've had the most trouble with is either the Ranger or the Fighter with like long stuff, because then they can block and then get in close and kill you. So anyways, getting into this is just your default loadout. This is what you start with. Now, it's going to take a couple times, but you got to get out with some jewels and stuff and some gold. But honestly, with the Barbarian, if you play like this, if you're playing the solo dungeon, it's especially easy. But trios would work just fine with this. And get out with your first time, and then what you're going to want to spend your gold on the very first time that you get out is go to merchants and hit up that weaponsmith. And yeah, so he has it. So this is a 13 gold battle axe. Really cheap, but as you can see, it does 45 damage, whereas your weapon does 35 damage. So this is an insane buff. So first things first, get yourself that better battle axe, 10 extra damage. You'll notice a difference for sure. Next, basically, honestly, your armor's fine. You don't really need to buy armor, but what I would focus on is go to the alchemist, hit up the 3 potions. And on it, I'm just buying them out right now, but you really only need a stack of like maybe 3 or 4 potions. And then also the surgeon, make sure you grab yourself some bandages as well. And generally the majority of my money is going into healing, so I'll generally take like that. And then if you have a couple invis pots, they're always helpful. You could sit in a corner and, you know, jump on someone. So maybe something like this. Maybe take an extra 3 healing pots if you think you're going to be fighting a fair amount. Really, you shouldn't be hit by PvP or by PvE. You should only be like taking damage in PvP. So this is the basic setup. It's really easy to get through the like solo dungeon with this, and then trios, you know, it depends on your team and whether you're going solo or not. So going to your class, and then obviously training's on out, but in the perk/skills, so starting off with your 2 skills, I'd say that Savage Roar is absolutely necessary, especially in the solo dungeon. It's so helpful for making enemies run away. Basically, you just roar, and the enemies will be like taunted away from you for 6 seconds. And then it also reduces their physical damage boost by 25. So, or by 25%. Then also Rage. I usually use Rage. It's pretty helpful because it gives you a 15% movement speed increase. However, it does reduce your defense, so be careful when using this. You could also, instead of using Rage, you could use Warcry, which this is really good for like the 3-person dungeon because it increases the maximum HP of you and your allies by 25%. So that's pretty huge because you'll get like what, almost 30 health, probably maybe 34. So then starting off with your perks. So the first perk I would take is Smash. It allows you to like one-shot doors with your main weapon, and it is so extremely helpful. Getting away by just smashing down a door, or when you're chasing someone also, if they lock a door behind you, it can take a long time to open a door, but if you just smash it down, they will be so surprised, and it's absolutely terrifying to have a Barbarian chasing you who can just smash down doors. So I'd totally take that as your first perk. And then the second perk that I'd take is it adds 10 weapon damage to your axe attacks. This is an insane perk because now our weapon, which does 45 damage, now it does 55 damage as just like a common axe, right? And that's insane. You're going to struggle to find weapons that do more damage than that aren't axes. So crazy perk right there, absolutely insane. It's better than any of the other like percent increases to your damage. I've done the math, unless I like did the math incorrectly. I'm pretty sure this is a better deal than any of the other ones. Then generally I would take the HP increase by 10%, and then also if you find yourself running into a bunch of wizards, then magic resistance is quite nice. But if you're not running into wizards, then you could honestly change that out because it's useless if you're not fighting wizards. So you could, you know, take more damage. Honestly, all of these are pretty good. If you're going for PvP, this is probably a really good one, just because you get that heal after killing another player. So yeah, it just sort of depends like what you're trying to do. So those are your perks and skills. You have these. Trying to think of anything else. Oh yeah, so for potions versus bandages and when to use them. So I would even consider using a potion of healing before you get into a fight, right? Oh, and sorry, one last thing that I forgot. In the Alchemist, protection pots are really cheap, right? 4 gold, it's like nothing, because you can get out of a raid with like 100 gold, easy. So I would consider bringing at least like 1 or 2 protection pots as well, and just pop them before you get into like a PvP fight. Or if you think there's going to be a big PvE fight, pop them before that. it blocks 20 physical damage, which can make it so that someone has to hit you like 1 extra time, which is actually, it makes a huge difference. So definitely use potions of protections, healing pots, invis potions if you find them. You can't buy them, but they can be useful. And yeah, so oh yeah, so bandages versus potions of healing. Bandages take a long time to cast, whereas potions are pretty easy to just drink. So when you're out of combat and you're low on health, don't use potions, use bandages, because you have the time to heal up, right? But when you're in combat or you're like running away, that's the good time to use potions of healing. They're also really helpful for when you're running through the storm or the swarm, and it can heal the like damage over time that you get. So very helpful. Definitely like quick use, and then this is for healing up after battles. And then obviously you have these axes. If you're getting like plinked by a ranger or something like that, or you need to finish someone off who's running away, the Francisca axes are extremely helpful for that. And then finally, a couple last tips is the torch is really helpful, obviously, for seeing. I would usually honestly walk around with it out just because it allows you to see spike traps, wall traps, stuff like that. And then also, if you need to get past a spike trap that's like covering an entire hallway, you can throw a torch down onto it, and once it's gone up, you have to wait, and like as it's resetting, if you walk over it, it won't spike you. So it's sort of hard to explain, you'll have to get used to it, but they're for sure very handy for like getting spike traps to go off. So I think that should be about it. Generally, like when I'm looking for boots in the raid, I would look for things with movement speed, because as a barbarian you move pretty slow, and you have so much health that like you honestly don't need the huge armor rating. I mean, it's very helpful obviously, but I would take heavy boots, or I would take boots that increase your movement speed if you can find them, just because having the extra movement speed to catch up with someone is absolutely really important. So anyways, that's my barbarian guide. I hope you found it helpful. Yeah. Thanks for watching, y'all. If you enjoyed, leave a like, subscribe. Really appreciate all the support. And yeah, I hope you have a great day. Good luck in your raids this week, and I'll see you next time.